Hi guys and welcome to another brand new video. Today's video is my sequel September TBR. So as you guys know, I have caught up on my review books and I can now start reading all of the books that are left in my TBR, but it's kind of overwhelming when you have a really big TBR and you can suddenly just read whatever you want. So I've decided that I'm going to do a monthly TBR theme to kind of give my reading some direction every month instead of just picking up whatever, because I know I'm going to end up being indecisive. So this month I've decided to do sequel September because there are an absolute ton of books that are like second or third in a series that I still haven't read, and I checked with Twitter and Twitter said that I could get away with putting third books down as part of sequel September. So first up on my TBR is Kirk Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. This is the sequel to Six of Crows. It's a duology, so this is the final book. In the Six of Crows duology you have Kaz Brekker, who is a criminal prodigy, and he gathers together this crew of misfits to pull off this big deadly heist that's pretty much suicidal. His crew consists of a heartrender, a spy, a witch hunter, a sharpshooter and a runaway, and obviously Kaz himself. Obviously with Kirk Kingdom the heist is done, it's over. We're going to see what happened after the heist and what happened after that epic finale. I'm so excited, you guys. I'm so excited. I'm finally gonna read it. Next up is The Crown's Fate by Evelyn Skye. This is the sequel to The Crown's Game. Again, it's a duology and I completely loved the first book. It got me out of a huge reading slump. In this duology we have two main characters. We have Vika, she can summon snow and she can turn ash to gold, and then we have Nikolai, who can see through walls and he can summon bridges out of thin air. This makes them enchanters and they're literally like the only two in Russia, but because of a load of threats against him the Tsar needs one, but literally only one. Why? I don't know, because like surely two is better than one, but he just needs one. So in order to find this one enchanter that he needs, even though like clearly he'd be better if he had two, he initiates the Crown's Game, which is an ancient duel of magical skill, and you know, the winner will become the Imperial Enchanter and the loser will just, you know, die. Next up is My Plain Jane by Cynthia Hand, Brodie Ashton and Jodie Meadows. This one is a retelling of Jane Eyre, and we have our orphan Jane Eyre who goes to Thornfield Hall to become a governess, and she meets the dark and brooding Mr. Rochester. But with this book, all is not as it seems, because a certain gentleman is hiding more than skeletons in his closet, and our orphan Jane Eyre, aspiring author Charlotte Bronte and supernatural investigator Alexander Blackwood are drawn together to go on an epic ghost hunt. I feel like this is going to partially get me ready for Halloween too. I don't really care, I just want to finally read it because I'm looking forward to it. Next up is Daughter of the Siren Queen by Trisha Levenseller. This is the sequel to Daughter of the Pirate King and is another one of my anticipated reads for this year. Our main character Alosa is obviously the daughter of the Pirate King. She allows herself to be captured so she can search the enemy ship because she is looking for an ancient hidden map to a legendary treasure trove, but the first mate Raiden stands in the way and makes it difficult because, you know, there's the whole, oh look, he's good looking, but he's kind of a pain in the ass. Obviously in this book Alosa has retrieved what she needs to, and she and her crew set out to go and find this treasure, but they're in a deadly race against her father after a secret that he's been keeping for years has been revealed. Next up is Tower of Dawn by Sarah J Maas. I really need to read it before the next Throne of Glass book is out. I've heard kind of mixed things, so I guess we'll see how this goes. This is the book that's gonna let us finally find out what the hell happened to Chaol while everyone else was running about in Empire of Storms. Because, you know, if you've read Empire of Storms, you may have noticed that Chaol wasn't there. They were all running around doing whatever, but Chaol was, I don't know, was he sitting having a nap? A break? He just wasn't there. But this book finally lets us find out what the hell happened to Chaol. In Tower of Dawn, Chaol heads to Antica in search of the legendary healers, and he tries to get the rulers on their side. That's kind of all I'm going to say because I don't want to delve into spoiler territory, because I know some people haven't read this yet because they kind of want to read them all in one go. But yeah, Chaol's back, finally. God's Grave by J. Kristoff. This is the sequel to Nevernight. Think Hogwarts, but for assassins. I know the third book's coming out soon, so this is the perfect excuse for me to finally read it. And my copy has black sprayed edges because sprayed edges. So we have Mia. Her father rebelled. She barely escaped. She's being hunted down by the Senate and she has a gift for talking to the shadows. That gift, very kindly, led her to the door of a retired killer. Mia is now apprenticed at the Red Church and she must best all of the other students in contests of all things stabby and murdery to be inducted among the blades of the Lady of Blessed Murder. And, you know, get closer to vengeance. But there is a killer stalking the halls. I mean, they're kind of all killers, but this one's a bit like serial killery, murdering people that he's basically murdering the murderers. The Burning Maze by Rick Riordan. This is the next book in the Trials of Apollo series. I am living for this series. It's completely hilarious. I haven't read Percy Jackson yet. I've literally just read this in Magnus Chase. But it cracks me up, and it's a lot of fun, and Apollo is a pretty hilarious main character. Our boy Apollo here basically pisses off Zeus one too many times, and so he gets cast down to Earth and made into a mortal teenager, which is pretty much the worst thing that has ever happened to him in his entire life. In order to return to Olympus, Apollo has to restore the 5 oracles that have mysteriously gone dark, but he has no godly powers whatsoever, and he is bound to a daughter of Demeter called Meg, who he doesn't particularly get on with in the beginning, you could say. Plus, there's an evil trio of Roman emperors kicking about, doing evil emperor things, just to make his life hard. Next up is A Court of War and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas. Do I even need to explain this book at this point? Basically, Feyre goes out one day, does a spot of hunting because, you know, they need to hunt to survive. She kills an animal she shouldn't. She then ends up getting dragged to the Spring Court by Tamlin. His name is Tamlin. She gets dragged to the Spring Court by Tamlin. Yeah. Basically, I like to pretend that a Kotar doesn't exist and the good shit doesn't really start until A Court of Mist and Fury, when it's all Rhys and the Inner Circle and there is no Tamtul there, getting on my last nerve. But, you know, for this book, Tamtul makes his triumphant return to piss me off endlessly. No doubt. I'm prepared for it now though, I'm prepared. I feel like my TBR for this month is pretty ambitious just as it is, but I do have a lot of time to do a lot of reading this month because I'm not on set as far as I'm aware. So I have 3 additional books that I'm gonna hopefully get done, but I'm not sure I'll get done. Legendary by Stephanie Garber. This is the sequel to Caraval. Legendary focuses on Scarlet's sister Tella. She made a bargain to deliver Caraval Master Legend's true name, but the only way that she can uncover his true name is to take part in Caraval and win it. So she throws herself into the competition and into the path of a murderous heir to the throne. There's also a doomed love story and a web of secrets. If she fails, she basically loses everything she cares about, but if she wins, she pretty much destroys Caraval and the Master of Caraval. Inferno by Julie Kagawa. This is the next book in the Talon series. Basically in Talon, you have a group of shape-shifting dragons. They belong to the organisation Talon, and we follow Ember and her twin brother. They're basically sent to the human world one summer, and they have to live amongst the humans. It's like their final hurdle before they can officially join Talon, but the Order of St. George is there as well, and they are sworn to destroy all dragons. And there's romance, because obviously Ember and the Order of St. George dude have a little something going on. And then there's a rogue dragon coming in too, because love triangle. But in this one, there's a bit of a rebellion underway because Talon are a little bit shady, and that's probably an understatement. Next up is Reunited by Colleen Huck. This is the 3rd and final book in the Reawakened trilogy. Our main character Lily heads to the Metropolitan Museum of Art one day to have a wander, have a look round, soak in some culture, and while she's there she happens to stumble across an ancient Egyptian prince with godlike powers who has just woken up after 1,000 years being, you know, mummified. She has to aid him in his quest to find and raise his brothers and complete a grand ceremony. And, you know, stop the evil shape-shifting god Set from taking over the world. I will fully admit that while I 100% loved the first book, the second book did give me pause a little bit, and there were a few things that I was a bit shaky about, but I'm intrigued to see how it's going to finish. This was my first Colleen Huck series. So that is my September TBR. It's probably a little bit ambitious, but I should have a lot of time to read this month, and a lot of these I have been really looking forward to, and I'm anticipating being able to binge read in one go, basically. I also might speed reread a couple of the first books, like Six of Crows, because that was my original plan. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll post links down below to all of the books so you can check them out. I will also link all of my social media down below as well, so you can see how I'm getting on with my Sequel September TBR. If you guys want to join in with Sequel September, feel free. Let me know down below what is on your September TBR, and I will see you guys soon.